we are happy to have her here. I will do a quick introduction that she is at Microsoft, but what's amazing about her and what I love, and I can see your screen and I can hear you, so you're good. What I love about her is her community. You know, I have a special place in my heart for building community work. She's done work from NICWIT. She has her own community organization that I hope she talks about. So it's really important to give back. So I will hand it over to you. And thanks for being here and talking about following your passion.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm in Seattle, so it's afternoon here. But I'm very happy, and I'm going to share my story in hopes that it would inspire you to also follow your passion and do what makes you happy and makes you tickle. So I'll start with my journey, and please, if there are any questions, that would be great to have on the chat. I'll make sure that I have some time at the end to answer some questions. So in terms of my journey, can you hear me?
Yeah, and I can help you watch chat because I know you can't do both. I got your back.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. I wasn't sure. Okay, so in terms of my journey, I'm from Venezuela. I grew up there all my life, and it just went, speaking Spanish, and it was just great. And then what happened is like the hardest class that I had was English. Like I love math, physics, chemistry, like all the sciences and sports and all that. I was awesome at it. But when it came to like English and Spanish, it was like super hard. It was super difficult. So my mom decided to send me to Florida for 1 year so I could learn how to speak English. And I did, and I had an awesome time. After middle school, then I went back to Venezuela. I got my degree from high school, and I also did the International Baccalaureate. So I came out with a high school degree from Venezuela and also from Switzerland, which is the IB where it stands. And I did not make it to the university that I wanted to make it. I was super close. You were supposed to get in with 88 points, and I got 87.92. So what happened? I ended up in Germany. I went and studied my last year of high school in Berlin, Germany. I felt even more in love about technology. And I was like, this is just awesome. I really want to go and study something that has to do with technology. Just for background, my mom is a lawyer and my dad is an agricultural engineer. So computers wasn't necessarily something that it was instilled by my parents, but it was something that I had a passion since the beginning. I finished my high school in Germany. If you know anything about what's going on in Venezuela, it's a very sad story in terms of how the country has been going. And I have to go to make a decision in like, where do you want to go to school? Because you cannot really come back to my country. I couldn't at that time. And now it's even worse. So what ended up happening is that I went to school in Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin, and I thought I knew snow. And the funny part is because I lived in Germany, I've seen snow, I got this, and I get to Wisconsin, and it was, imagine all the floors, everything just snow all the way. And I was like, I've never seen so much snow in my life. Like, how is this going to work out? It did at the end, but it was very impressive, like very different temperatures that I was expecting, but I had an awesome time. And while at Wisconsin, I had the opportunity to do 2 internships that helped me a lot to go into this corporate America, what it's like to have a job. And then I also was super lucky that I got to study abroad in China, in the city of Shanghai, and got to go and see like the manufacturer, like Foxconn, and like where you get like batteries and ACs. And that was very fun experience to see how things get manufactured at mass scale, and to see the free zones. And because that was super cool, I also got to go and do research in India about tech companies, consultants, and financial companies that have some of the business in India. And after that, I got super lucky and I got hired at Microsoft. It was an amazing opportunity that I love, that I've been able to have. And that's what I'm trying to do, like make sure that other people have the same opportunity that I was able to get in. And what I do at Microsoft, and I'll talk here because I won't talk much in the rest of the slides, is I focus on Azure Functions bots. And what we do is to make sure that at the PR time, we provide certain tools and recommendations that makes our software and our services and products be as secure and compliant as they can be. So that's what I do on my main job. And then because of one of the awesome Microsoft benefits that it has is that I could get my education for my master's while working. And so I got my master's at the University of Arizona in information systems with an emphasis in security. And the last thing I've been doing that I'll share with you is that I started my own nonprofit, as Nicole mentioned, called Nuevo Foundation. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So what's my passion? Because this conversation is all about passion. So my passion is being able to help others realize their full potential. And how did I found this? Like, what was it? Like, what triggered it? So I'll tell you 3 stories. The first one is it's part of my upbringing. So growing up, my grandpa was always the kind of grandpa that would come and say, hey, Bea, let's go and we're going to go and donate clothes, or we're going to go and donate food. We're going to go and buy things from like the shelters. And it was just like such a fun time when we go and actually give either our time or some sort of goods or some sort of like food or whatever it was. But it was a fun part that it was so ingrained that to me, like giving back, it was just part of like regular life. And that I'm very thankful that my grandpa instilled that in me. When it came to college, one of the opportunities that I thought I could help is how can I make sure that other students that maybe come from some underrepresented background have this ability to see that they can also go to college. And so at the university, they have a program that's called Blue Gold Beginnings. And what they do is that they find students that come from low income background and they bring them to the university to spend an entire day where they get to attend classes, see the dorms. And that to me was fascinating. I did it the 4 years I was in college, and we would bring students and talk about what it's like to be a college student. And the idea is to inspire those kids that they also go to college and they finish high school. And then at Microsoft, pretty much since the get-go, I've been helping out. So we have these employee resource groups called like Women's at Microsoft. I've been helping in that. There's another resource group for Latinos or Hispanics at Microsoft. I help with that. And also there is a group that we teach kids how to code, and it's called DigiGirls, and it's for girls specifically. So I've been 7 years at Microsoft. I helped 6 years. Likely this summer it's not going to be able to happen, but it was just very fun. Like I get to go and help someone to see, hey, I can also be here. And that to me, like it just means a lot. That's how I found my passion. I know that I like it and I keep doing it and I want to do more. So what I found my passion, I got to that place that I'm like, I'm loving what I'm doing. What did I do to take it further? So the further part that I did was to create Nuevo Foundation. And the mission that we have is to inspire kids to be curious, confident, and courageous by discovering the world of STEM. And this is definitely a team effort. It was a day on a cafeteria. I invite 5 of my friends and I say, look, we all come to tech, and because we want to change the world, we want to have an impact, and we do it through our services and through our products. But how about we start thinking about how can we impact humans' lives? Like, how do we do that? And the way that we figure, and or like the idea that I had based on the experience that I previously shared, is we're very lucky and very fortunate. We're very lucky that we get to work at a company like Microsoft. But how do we make sure that other kids that might not have that role model or might not have that people around their surroundings that also know that tech is a field that's possible for them too? How do we make sure that we have that impact in people's life? Crazy enough, my friends is like, it's a great idea, crazy idea. We don't know anything about how to do a nonprofit, but we believe in it. Let's do it. And so that was in January 2018. And the first event that we have was in January. It was in April 2018. And I'll share a story about that. So the first event, as I mentioned, I went to school in Wisconsin. And I went back to Wisconsin and we brought 40 girls from a town in Wisconsin called Arcadia. So Arcadia is the hometown of a big manufacturer here in the US. And so the girls came to the university, and there's 40 girls. There were the teachers and chaperones, and I get to share my story. But before I start sharing my story, I wanted to know what was their dream job. Like, what's that thing that they want to do when they grow up? And so I asked that question, and they were shy at the beginning. But then the first girl raises her hand, and she says, I would love to work at the factory line, at the manufacturer. Awesome. Second, I would love to work at the factory line. And the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and so on. So I share my story, share how cool it is to work in tech, what you can do with code, how far it can take you in your career. I taught him how to do coding with the turtle. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a library where you can use Python, and you have the turtle that you make her move. You can do loops, you can do functions, and they loved it. It was very fun. And then I had a more hands-on activity where they could do some more of collaboration. And before it was time for them to go back to their school, I asked them, can you please fill out this survey? And so I hand out the survey, and to my surprise, every single girl out of the 40 wrote down that because of the event, they now wanted to pursue college education. And that is just a testament that you cannot be what you cannot see. And that's what I love what I do. So let me tell you a little bit about, more about what we do. So what we do is we do 3 things. We do 3 efforts. We do coding workshops. For that one, what we do is we bring kids, we either go to a school where the kids are, or to some sort of organization where the students are, or we bring them to Microsoft campus. And we do, first we have someone sharing their story. We have some sort of a coding workshop that could be Python, JavaScript, Visual Basic, HTML, CSS, and C#. That's what we have right now. So they do that. They start from hello world all the way to having some sort of a solution that they can run. Like most of the time it's a game or a fun activity. And then we also show them the hardware portion. We play with Adafruits, microbits, and we recently got some EV3 Legos. So we do those 2 parts. And then we have lunch, and I bring them a panel of people from the engineering side. That would be like software engineers or program managers. But I also bring in role models from non-engineering side. So that would be either people from the marketing, the legal, the finance, the business, the sales. And the idea for that is that I want to make sure that even if some students are not necessarily into the STEM path, that they could see themselves that it doesn't matter what path they go, there's likely a place in tech for them to also be part of tech. And so that's the goal in there. It has been amazing. The things that I can tell you is that when the kids get to campus, for them it's like going to Disney World, especially with the kids that we work. Some of them, they might not even be in the city yet. And they get there and they have like free sodas and a ping pong table and an arcade. And that to them, it just makes them like dream. Like they could be there too. Like it's possible. There's people that look like them. Like it's okay. Like I can dream. And that has been just amazing to see their reaction, because they come in the morning, probably not wanting to come because they're coming from 3-hour drive, 4-hour drive, 2-hour drive, and they have to come to this trip. And then when they leave, they do not want to leave, and they're like just super excited about coding. Let me see. Okay, the other effort that we do is virtual sessions. So we have had success in the terms of like coding workshops, and we've been asked, hey, can you bring your message to a school in New York, to a school in Miami, to a school in LA, to a school in Bolivia, to a school in Peru, New Zealand? And so we've been doing this, and the only way that we could scale is to do virtual sessions. So in those virtual sessions, it's a 30-minute call where one of us or the volunteers share their story of how they got into STEM, and the students get to ask questions. And the reason this has been successful, based on the feedback that we've gathered and also the professors and the teachers, is because it's unlikely that the schools where they go to, they might have a role model that would look like them that could be in a tech job. So those have been great. And the speaker series for those is when you go, I don't know if you remember when you were in high school or in middle school, and there's this big auditorium in a tech talk style, where we get to share our message about STEM education and what it can do for you and your family at a larger audience. So we've been doing this. And because we're all in tech and we love numbers, I want to show you a little bit about the impact that we've had. So as I mentioned, we started in April 2018. And up to today, we've helped about 5,358 diverse students. They are diverse in any shape because of their race, because of their income, because of their ethnicity, or because of their gender. And we've surveyed them just to make sure that we can improve, and also that what we're doing is impactful. And after our events, 80% of them are more interested in STEM education, and 91% of them believe that they learned how to code. And we've been able to do this in more than 10 countries in 3 languages. And if you're like convinced that sharing your story can help somebody else, more than happy to take you for an offer and say, look, we have a YouTube channel. You want to share your story and inspire students, please do so, and any language is okay. So because pictures tell more than what I'm talking about, I want to share like these 4 pictures and the story behind them. So the first picture right there, that this lady right here at the top right, top left corner, is she was super excited at the event, and she's like, can you please take a picture of me because I learned how to code, and guess what I'm doing tonight? And so I'm like, oh, tell me. And she's like, I'm going to teach my little sister how to code because now I know. And so that holds a very special place in our hearts because it's not normal, or you wouldn't think about a little girl that would say, hey, I learned how to code and I'm teaching my sister. But that talks a little bit about what we've been doing. In the top right corner, we have an event about 100. I think this is the first time that we had an event that had more than 100 students from multiple high schools that came to campus, and we taught them how to code. The picture at the lower left, that is the first time that I held an event that was all for girls and that many. It was about 65 girls that came from Tacoma, which is an adjacent city here to Seattle. And it was an amazing experience. And I was like, we have to do this more. And the last picture that I have on the lower right corner, it's some people, it's like, Bea, but like, are they really paying attention? It seems like they're just laughing and listening to their own music. And what's funny about this one is that we teach a workshop where you can make your own song by writing Python. It's called Ear Sketch. And it has been a hit for kids that are very shy. And then all of a sudden they start making their own beats and they just have a lot of fun while learning the same concepts about coding. But we cannot do this without our team. So there's a team, a lot of volunteers, a lot of people that have passion to help others and to give back. This is a picture of the hackathon that we have last year. We had about 90 hackers. This is part of the hackers that were there. And every single person had to add something to the Nuevo Foundation. And they've been adding some coding, some exercises, some mentorships, some ideas. And all of them has been like very grateful because some of the students, so we had some interns and what they share is, because of a work similar to Nuevo Foundation, it's why I'm in computer science. Or because they had a speaker that came to my high school or my middle school and talked to me about computer science. That's what I decided to go that route. And those are people that have been benefited from programs like this one that they want to keep giving back. How am I doing on time, Nicole?
Probably need to bring it home. If you can get us to close, that would be awesome. Thanks.
Okay. So how can you find your passion? So what I have in here is, what is it something that you enjoy doing? Like that when you're doing it, you're happy, like you can be like your true self. The other thing that maybe would be helpful to ask would be, what makes you happy and complete? Like after you do that something, it could be helping others, it could be dancing, it could be playing sport, whatever that is, what would that be? And the last is that something that you do often? And if you cannot do often because of any reason, would that be something that you'd like to do often? And I think if you can answer 3 questions, it can really help you to get what is it that you're passionate about. And hopefully you can follow that and pursue it. So I think that's what I had. I don't know if there are questions.
Yeah, we don't really have as much time, but I just want to let you know I did drop your LinkedIn link in there. This is Nicole Scheffler. Look at my chats for her LinkedIn if you want to connect with her directly, as well as I provided the foundation link. So just I think the biggest thing is to thank you for giving back. A lot of comments around your impact and your inspiration. And unfortunately, we are way behind schedule, so we're going to have to move along. But we really appreciate you giving back to the community, doing your day work, and then doing that. And that's just something we can all do to make the world a better place as women in tech. So it's very inspiring. Thank you. So let's give her a round of applause. Woo, 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 woo.